YouTube, what's going on? Today we're going to be checking out SARMs, the disturbing rise of legal steroids. Now, SARMs, if you haven't heard of SARM goblins, oh, he's on SARMs, oh, I'm not on steroids, I'm on SARMs, like, SARMs that really came to light within the past few years. And this video is from 2 years ago, so maybe there's some more information now that there wasn't known back then, but I just stumbled across this video. I'm really interested in watching it, so let's get it.
What if a scientist came up with something better than anabolic steroids?
To me, SARMs initially seemed like a cheat code to fitness, a shortcut perfect for skinny teenagers looking to gain muscle. It really doesn't take long to realize why there's a new growing generation of so-called SARM goblins. Teenagers blitzing their way through the beginner stage with the goal of looking like their favorite influencers. But at what cost?
How much risk are you comfortable taking with these drugs?
Any teenagers that are watching this, I would highly recommend against.
Taking research chemicals is just not a good idea.
You might be paying a price further down the road.
This is 100% broology.
Stay away from SARMs.
So why are SARMs so controversial? And despite this, why are you probably going to see more and more people start taking them? SARMs were originally developed as an alternative to steroids. They looked extremely promising, especially for treating muscle-wasting diseases, while avoiding unwanted side effects.
In fact, word on the street is that SARMs are safe.
As you might imagine, this made them very attractive to the fitness community and scrawny teenagers like myself. With steroids, you often have to inject yourself. Well, with SARMs, it's often a nice pill. Steroids are illegal, while SARMs are perfectly legal to buy. Steroids have known side effects and a negative stigma, whereas SARMs seem to have none of this.
SARMs are my first toolkit of steroids.
With the predicted amount of people using performance-enhancing drugs already rising, today, SARMs seem to be the preferred choice for many.
More people are using SARMs than steroids. There's more. How do I know? You don't know anything. I know because I know because I know and I know, and you don't need to know how I know. I know.
None of this should be surprising. The most common reason for PED use is visual benefits, and social media platforms exacerbate this. The prevalence of fake naturals on these platforms was once one of the biggest problems in the fitness industry.
Who believes this man doesn't take steroids? Show yourself.
Today, people seem to be more transparent.
Maybe he's neg.
While many are concerned this transparency often borders on glorification, perhaps more concerning is how young some of these users are.
Do I take any supplements as a 15-year-old bodybuilder? Yes, let me show you what to take. I'm currently on 15 milligrams a day of Rag 140, also 25 milligrams a day of MK677.
You've probably seen some of these SARM transformations on TikTok. The more you watch, the more you're fed similar videos by the algorithm. As a result of this, it seems like SARM usage has been somewhat normalized. The only real temptation to take stuff used to be this creepy old guy who smelled like a gorilla and would wait outside my school gym. Today, I struggle to browse social media without being bombarded with SARM advertisements. It's not exactly surprising why so many people are taking them like sweets.
I had a phone consult with the parent of a 13-year-old girl asking me which SARMs to put their girl on so that they could be better at sports.
Such attractive branding, ease of purchase, and social proof has resulted in them almost becoming a viral trend, like fidget spinners. Except we're not talking about spinny toys, but actual drugs. Something I was never aware of when I was first introduced to SARMs were their many potential side effects, much of which are still unknown, which is why exactly 0 have been approved for human consumption. But you see, they were able to become popular through a loophole. Internet marketers realized if you add a quick little disclaimer stating they're not for human consumption, they're legal to sell for research purposes. At first, they were discreetly packaged like research chemicals. Now
hold on, I'm gonna take this back real quick.
At first, they were discreet.
So this Rad 140, this was actually for science. Like it came from, I can't remember, I mean, this was back when I was like a freshman in high school. We were researching this. It came from an actual like pharmaceutical for science company, and bro, it was like a legit science website, and they realized that people were buying this to use, and they discontinued it from whatever website this was. This exact bottle right here.
Packaged like research chemicals. Now, their intended usage has become slightly more blatant. Interestingly though, most knowledgeable enhanced bodybuilders are cautious.
We don't know. We don't fucking know what they do. We have a lot of anecdote.
There's some SARMs that are literally more dangerous than steroids with more side effects and do more harm to your body.
Is it necessarily safer? No, in a lot of cases it isn't.
SARMs are just as bad as underground anabolics.
To stop the more inexperienced beginners and teenagers catching on to this reality, sellers deploy sly tactics to cover new research, exposing negative side effects.
If you try to do research on SARMs, here's how these internet marketers are, and they're smart. It's sleazy, but it's smart. They'll write blogs and articles pretending to be scientific reviews of the SARMs, but in reality what they're doing is they're trying to populate the first page of Google.
This is so easy to fall for, all the while thinking you're a genius because you've done your research. In a 2017 investigation, researchers analysed 44 SARM products. They found 39% contained unapproved drugs, like steroids. 25% contained substances
that's
not even
extremely scary when it comes with like what. Jeez, like there's no way to like monitor then like what you're taking, or that's very scary. Growth hormone too, because you gotta take TRT after taking growth hormone and stuff like that. There's no way to monitor that though.
included on the label. And it gets worse.
Several contained a drug that was abandoned by GlaxoSmithKline a decade ago after it was found to cause cancer in animals.
Oh my god.
What results is millions of people, many not old enough to buy a lottery ticket, introduced to drugs which would make some of the most hardcore steroid users cringe. And we're already seeing the consequences. If you can look past the amazing transformations and shady research, SARM stands for Selective Androgen Receptor Modulators. This selective part is why many see them as steroids without the androgenic side effects. It sounds good in theory, however, this is not the reality.
SARMs are not liver safe, they're not lipid safe, they're certainly not HPTA safe, they're gonna suppress you just like steroids do.
The notion that SARMs are safe is bogus.
You must remember, they're still performance enhancing drugs. When you see companies sprinkling SARMs in their pre-workout formulas, like they're just another vitamin, this can be so easy to forget.
Like steroids, the more SARMs you use, the more side effects you are bound to experience.
There's an old axiom in the pharmaceutical science: a drug that doesn't have side effects is a drug that doesn't work.
Okay, makes sense. Now, what are some of the potential side effects?
Blood pressure goes up, premature rupture of tendons, palpitations.
They can shrink your nutsack if gyno.
Acne, hair loss, testosterone suppression.
Micropenises.
Jeez.
I Went Blind, Teenagers' Experience with SARMs was a video posted detailing a user's experience with vision damage. Other users also report an orange tint to their vision. A deep knowledge of pharmacology can help people minimize side effects, but how many teenagers really understand that stuff and just want a quick and easy muscle building shortcut, unaware they can shut their body down to the point where they're dependent on exogenous hormones? This isn't to mention the unknown long-term effects. The truth is, most people that experience side effects aren't going to shout about them. I know a few people who like to keep this private. It's extremely disturbing how many more people are going to be taking these research chemicals without being fully aware of what they're getting into, especially when there's another option. SARM culture has reached a point where, for many, spending years focused on nutrition, programming, and building good habits is seen as boring.
For those of you saying, oh, it took me years to get where I am.
Holy crap, SARMs, girl.
I don't want to wait that long. I'm impatient. Sorry.
With some users encouraging skipping these steps entirely and taking a more reckless approach.
The caption, dude, it says, quick tip, just take them. Like, these guys, just don't want to wait.
The more natural side of the industry, it's becoming smaller and smaller.
I can really relate to wanting that shortcut.
I'm going in, I don't give a fuck. I'm going in. I'm tired of fucking losing, dude.
But what if the reason SARMs were so attractive to me in the first place was because they seemed like a cure to treat the symptoms of much bigger issues, when I should have been focused on the root cause? I'm not going to be the one to say it's better, but there is another way.
My name is Mark Tomic and I'm a lifetime natural lifter. I've been training now for about 12 years and I believe taking SARMs is really not a good idea. These substances have not been studied enough and we really don't have long-term safety data. So you'd be risking your health and the only body you're ever going to get for what?
My name is Jeffrey Verdi-Schofield. I'm a lifetime natural lifter, and I think that SARMs or steroids are a very bad decision for the vast majority of people. My advice is to learn how to train first, learn proper exercise technique, have a healthy lifestyle, learn about diet, be consistent, put in at least a few years of training naturally before you decide to go down that road. Some people might say focus on health, not staying natural, but for 99.9% of people, they're the same thing.
You can already build an amazing physique naturally and improve your health. So think for yourself, don't fall for the hype. These trends tend to come and go. And with SARMs, I'd be very skeptical until we have very convincing evidence showing us long-term safety.
And once you understand that your potential is much higher than you originally thought, you won't be contemplating roids ever again. It won't happen.
I'm not here to talk about the morals of taking enhancements. People can do what they want. I'm only here to suggest that most of the people SARMs are marketed to should be more cautious and at least wait. Drastic shortcuts don't come without consequences, regardless of how you market it. And this is why the rise of SARMs is so tragic.
That was crazy. You know, probably the craziest part about that whole video was the fact that like 30% or 40% of SARMs don't even have what you expect them to have in it. So that's all for this video. Go ahead, like and subscribe. Like, we'll sign out. Peace.